What's up, everybody? As you guys already know, today was my Sunday run day, so there was no backyard boogie, there was no gym jumping off today. It was Sunday run day for me. Well, anyways, people, you know what I mean? I stay getting mine no matter what day it is. Like I said, Sunday I hit the park and go put 7 miles of running in. Something I enjoy doing. It just to get a peace of mind. I go right there in the town that I grew up in, down the street from where I grew up at, and go get my miles in. But anyways, people, I wanted to touch on something here real quick. Back to my last story, I had a couple of people ask me about a couple of different things. You know what I mean? About what a Sunday was like on or inside there. And another thing about using that word fool, because when I was telling my story about a certain individual from Lopez, I addressed him as being a fool. Now you need to understand that could be very disrespectful, okay? But if you're really, feeding really good with somebody, you guys are like taitas, you know what I mean? You it's okay to address one another as being a fool, you know what I mean? But you actually got to earn that right to address your homie as that, you know what I mean? Because it could be disrespectful, you know what I mean? So anyways, I just wanted to touch on that real quick. Yeah, and as far as the other thing, some people ask me, hey, AOG, so what were your guys' Sundays like in there? So I wanted to touch on that as well. Different locations, different ways. In the county, Sunday was pretty chill. You know what I mean? A lot of people that had store coming in. We got together. We had what they would call Southside spreads and shit. Everybody pitched in, and everybody pitched in. So if you didn't have anything, you saved something from your lunch, whatever was given to you at lunchtime, and that's what you pitched in. You know what I mean? That was your contribution. Anything helped. You know what I mean? It was to bring each other together. Show some camaraderie right there, and that's what we did on Sundays. We drank Cadillacs, Warichi. For those of you that don't know about Cadillacs, let me put it to you guys this way. What you guys know about Starbucks, we're the inventors of Starbucks, okay? Because coming from my time, we created those Cadillacs. And a Cadillac was put together with Keefy coffee, or some of us, we didn't have even Keefy. We had grounds. We used a sock. We dipped that shit in, made our coffee, but we added to it. You know what I mean? We'd put Snickers bars in there, hot chocolate, whatever type of zooms and whams that would be good to create this Cadillac. It was just basically a real sugary fucking drink, man. But it made us feel. It took us outside of it took us outside of where we were doing our time at. You know what I mean? It brought us together. It brought enjoyment to one another, and that's what we did. And other races did the same thing as well. You know what I mean? But as far as raza, we had some pretty big fucking spreads in there. You know what I mean? And I'm sure the people from up north probably did the same thing. But down here we call them Southside spreads. And that's what we did on Sundays. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, when we did shutdowns, because we did shut down early because a lot of homies were still fighting their cases. Some were waiting to catch the chain. We shut it down respectfully. We had to, you know what I mean? Because we're living amongst other races, and that's to keep our program running good, and everybody deals with their cases differently than others. And a lot of times we try to weed out those persons as well, too, because we don't want them to become a liability amongst running our program, because there's a lot behind running a program than just, having spreads and shit. You know what I mean? There's something bigger. And that's something that I'm not going to get into right here because it's not the time or place. But yeah, so that's usually basically what our Sundays consisted of. Throughout the county, you know what I mean, and every parts of the county is different. So I could go on to telling you different stories because I started from I did time all over the county. I got lucky one time to do a little short time in Biscaloo Center when I had first started. That was love right there. You know what I mean? It went off too. You know what I mean? But visits were so easy right there to get visits back in the day right there because it was a little closer to home, City Terrace, and other things that go along with that. It was cool right there. You know what I mean? But I would say the most active place that I've done time was 9500, of course, 3800, 2800, all that around there. It was pretty active. It was pretty active amongst well, one other time too was Medium South. Whew, my goodness, back then was there was a really fucking big riot that was set off. They brought in the National Guard, man. It was a big fucking riot. I played a part in that role too. Later on in time, I'll touch on that shit. But yeah, this is a little Sunday, I guess you could say, Sunday war story of the county. But now I'm gonna take you a fast forward real quick. Sunday, I'm not gonna name any particular prison up north that I was in. There was this well-known DJ up there, Ray Salas. Anybody doing time in the '90s would know who this correctional officer was. He was a correctional officer, but also a DJ on the weekends. So every Sunday, living was all about respect up there. It wasn't jumping like a lot of people thought. I mean, certain things happen. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm not going to touch on shit like that. There were certain organizations, disruptive organizations, that I dealt with going through that. And it's something way different than north and south. I can tell you that right now. For those of you that done time in them days, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was a disruptive group from the north, and I had to deal with them. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It was business. But anyways, a Sunday over there was pretty chill, man. You know what I mean? We would get it out there in the yard and do our thing with the homies and shit. And there wasn't really too many ranflas out there, I should say, different cars, because up north, we all came together as one. Unlike when you do time down south you have your cars where people be tripping and shit, car tripping and shit. That's why, me personally, I preferred to do time up north. It was just a camaraderie thing, you know what I mean? All the camaradas and the homies, got together and, we functioned as one. There was a lot of love right there. Especially when you rolled up, you know what I mean? You got care packages and shit like that. Homies looked out for one another real good right there, man. So anyways, people, a Sunday afternoon over there, we did our thing, you know what I mean? Some people had night yard and shit, you know what I mean? I didn't have night yard. I was in my cell. But, towards the end of the night, you know what I mean? The homies be bumping their Super 2s. And for those of you that are familiar with Super 2s, it was a little ghetto blaster that we had in our cell. We brought them out to the yard and shit. We'd drink Warichi all night and, chop it up with the homies amongst the neighbors. And then you would hear the shout outs. And that one DJ, Ray Salas, he did a lot of shout outs for the homies. He took shout outs, you know what I mean? Because our people in the free world would also be listening, the ones that could tune in. And not too much for the people that were coming from my end, you know what I mean, that lived down south and that were doing time up north. But a lot of them were, for the northerners out there, because they picked up that radio station, Ray Salas. I forget the name of the radio station, but it was right there in out there up north, man. But it was a cool thing, you know what I mean? It brought down a lot of the tension. Some people hard timed and shit, getting there, waiting for the shout outs and shit and dedications. Some didn't get them and some did, And then you also had the Art LeBeau show back in the day. Rest in peace, Art LeBeau, man. Played a big role in a lot of people's lives, doing time, It brought time to an ease, especially like with me. I'm going to give you a perfect example with me, man. I used to get up there on my rack and just chill. I was on the third floor on the third tier. And at a certain point of day, they had this foghorn that would go off, and I'd close my eyes and act like I was on a fucking cruise ship. You know what I mean? And that's one thing, I tell you, one thing the system can't take from anybody, man. That mindset. When you could control your mindset, and you could put yourself outside of the prison walls, and it helps a lot, man, with doing time. Once you learn to control that mind and develop that mindset of controlling it, it could put you in places of comfort, and make time a lot more easier, especially when you're sitting in your cell and doing, your thinking and shit. Because, you could only play fucking so much pinochle with your celly and so much fucking TV or whatever. I didn't really watch too much TV. I used to like playing pinochle and shit, but ain't nothing better playing pinochle with 4 people. That head up pinochle is boo-boo. But anyways, people, so I'm going to bring this to an end, people. It's Sunday afternoon, and I just wanted to touch down and bring you a quick little story, man. So go ahead and leave your comments, like, subscribe, put your all notification bell on all. People, share this with your people or whoever you want to share it with, you know what I mean? And let me know what you want to talk about, we could touch on any topic as long as it's professional and safe to speak on. I will speak on it, you know what I mean? I'll break shit down if you don't understand shit that goes on behind them walls. I'll break it down to you as long as, like I said, it's respectful and doesn't how should I breach any security? Let's say that. I'm going to keep it as that. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, anyways, people, you guys have a good afternoon, man. Enjoy the rest of this day. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go kick it with my wife, man. Chill. I'm going to have me some warichi. My wife might, have some tea, watch a little Netflix, something different. Times have changed, man. Life is good, people. Never give up, man. It's all good. You know what I mean? Think positive. Keep that mind strong, people. Don't ever let the system get the best of you. You know what I mean? Be that motherfucking warrior. Now get up and get yours. Let's do this.